Hello students, this is Dr. Davidson again, and I want to briefly explain how to prepare your lesson plan for the observation. Now, your lesson plan observation will come from the Lesson Planning Assistance page, and you will go ahead and begin by creating a lesson plan. But after you've created your lesson plan, you see where it says copy, rename, delete, or observation event. You will come over here and you will click observation event. When you open this up, I hope it'll open up on mine, yeah. Let's see. You will be offered this particular portion of the website that is attached to the lesson plan that you just created. Now, what you will do is that you will go into here and decide what is going to be the focus TPE, teacher performance expectation, that I am going to use for the focus of this lesson plan. So let's say that, and we always look at, just so you'll know, initially social environment, creating a social environment. So that's usually something you're going to want to do with every lesson plan. But as you go through the program, you will add additional teaching performance expectations. But let's just look at this one to start. So I click on this and it gives me this screen now. And what these are is these are levels of proficiency. So if you are creating a classroom culture and we're looking at the social event for a social environment in your classroom, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as exploring, which would mean you are aware of student behavior, but you may miss some activities, which means you're green. You're just learning how to do this, and maybe you don't know exactly how you want how to control the class or manage the class so that's an effective teaching environment. So what you're going to say is, well, I think I'm here, which is at exploring. If you think, however, that you are a little you have a little more control of the classroom and creating that environment, then here's the descriptor for that you are applying. Has created opportunities for students to communicate and work together, encouraging groups of students to assume, plan for, and fulfill classroom responsibilities. If this is where you think you are, then you click this one, and so on. If you're not sure of what these particular um, um, characteristics would look like, you can click on show benchmarks, and here it'll give you the descriptors. So if you're applying or exploring whatever you happen to be, it tells you this is what it looks like if you have mastered this, that you know how to write and implement a student discipline plan. If we're not going to be looking at that, you don't have to write this down. Candidate creates responds appropriately to sensitive issues and classroom discussions. If that's what you think that I might be looking for in this lesson, or that's where you want me to focus in this lesson, then you go ahead and you know that that's the descriptor. This is where you are always trying to reach as the teacher. So down here, you can write what you're going to do to demonstrate this, or you can just take something from here. You could just say, well, I'm going to create a positive environment for the kids. And you can go ahead and then just put that here. And now you have, you can hide the benchmarks. You filled this section out, and you have stated where you're going to be. And now it becomes part of the lesson plan, the observation for me, so that now I will receive something that looks like this. So when I get this from you, I receive something that looks like this. So as you notice, here is the top of the lesson plan, the TPEs. And then down here, this is actually what you would be writing in the lesson plan if you, the open, the body, and the close. So this was a model that I used. Let me get you one that's a little more complete so you can see what that looks like. Let's use this one. Okay, this is a term 4 student, and you see that there's S check marks and regular check marks. When I get it from you, I get an S check mark. This says this is what you think, where you think you are. And then when I do this, this is where my comment on what I think, where I think you are. And in this particular student, she thought that she was proficient in this area, and I clicked it and I said, well, I think she's proficient as well. So anyway, I just wanted you to know what that looks like. So then down here, you see the lesson plan, the objectives, and then here we have the instructional strategies. This is what she wrote in her procedure, the narrative and the procedure. When I do comments, I will go over here and I will write down the comments of what I think about the lesson. Then this happened to be a video lesson, so the notations of the video are down here. So this is where she made notations and where I made notations. And then I write post observation for this one. I just say see video because the observation notes are all on the video. As you can see, here's my observation notes and here are some of her observation notes. So I just want you to know how that links together. And what happens is you can see that the entire LPA is here. So this is the LPA that you wrote. But when you went over and said that you wanted an observation event, you added a layer to that LPA that then made it possible for me to look at your levels of teacher performance expectation. And now this lesson plan is now the pre-observation for the observation event, a formal observation when I come to visit. So I really need you to make sure that you get these to me 48 hours in advance so I could look it over to see if there's something I need to tell you about. I cannot impress upon you enough. And the last thing is when I'm writing on the observation itself, let me go back over here and open it up. I just want you to know you'll be able to see what I have written immediately because when I'm writing the observation, over here it says finalized, but there's a little box here that I can't show you because no one has one open that says visible to students. So when I write my comments here about what I see in the observation, I write it in the post-observation I write it here in the post-observation conference reflection. So this is where I'm also writing information. So in the event that I don't get a chance to actually talk to you, you can come right here and look and see whatever it is I wrote about the observation. And sometimes I'll say, you and I need to talk, and I'll ask you to arrange a time to speak with me. Other times, this will suffice, and if you feel you need to still speak with me, you just go ahead and contact me. You also, before this can be closed, you will need to write down the student analysis of the reflection. And I will often remind you, please close this out by writing down the student analysis of the reflection. So that's all part of the observation event, and that's something that you just need to know how to do because it's connected to the LPA, but it's also part of your requirement as a student because you're going to be observed, and this is how we go through that procedure for pre-observation and post-observation. So even if I don't sit down with you personally while you are creating your observation initially, I see your observation and I know what you're going to be doing, and I reflect on that to see if I need to contact you to let you know that there's some changes you might need to make. So sometimes students are confused about that and don't think we have a pre-observation or post-observation, but we actually do, even though we may not speak to each other because of time. And time is always an issue when you're in the classroom. So thank you very much. I hope you find this useful. And this is just one in the many series of the videos I'll use to help you become a better educator. Good night.